Good evening. Welcome to the Midnight Movie, what was the Midnight Movie Cigar Club. I'm changing that up because I think the cigar smoking really hurt my chances of being on SourceFed Movie Club. So we're ditching that for now, and I'm just going to call it the Garage Reviews, because I'm in the garage still. Tonight we watched Tim Burton's Big Fish, about an Alabama boy and his father. The film, of course, directed by Tim Burton and starring Ewan McGregor, Albert Finney, Billy Crudup, Helena Bonham Carter, Doy. Danny DeVito has a cameo channeling his best Ron Jeremy, as well as Steve Buscemi, who I just love seeing in movies, and Jessica Lange. I love me some Jessica Lange. Also that really giant dude that died. Big Fish is essentially the story of a broken relationship between a father and a son. It is nearing the end of the father's life, and his son, he feels like he doesn't know his father because his father has always been telling tall tales and stories about his life, but he doesn't really know anything about his father, anything that he believes is a real, true story. The father in the film is played in present day by Albert Finney and in flashback by Ewan McGregor. So for the majority of the film, Ewan McGregor is playing the role of the father in his stories. The father's name is Edward Bloom, and his son, played by Crudup, is named William Bloom, or Will Bloom. Oh, I just got that, Will Bloom. William makes it his goal to understand the truth about his father by trying to separate the truth from the myth in all of the stories. Many of these tall tales include meeting a witch that can tell you how you're going to die. He apparently met a giant who is 15 feet tall. And of course the tale that is the namesake of the film, catching this big fish that was supposedly uncatchable. And it becomes a metaphor during the whole film. So let's break down what I thought about this film. It's very Rockwellian in a charming way with a Tim Burton-y twist. Most of the flashback scenes there's overacting. It's very charming, it's very 1950s, 60s-esque. It reminded me of when you hear stories about your parents or your grandparents. They're telling a story and in your head it's kind of glossied or it's sort of fancified. I think what it comes down to is that all stories about our parents or our parents' generation are romanticized. The hard part is separating the truth from what is being mystified, or if that's even something we should be doing. I bought this film on a lark probably 10 years ago. I have it on DVD. I watched it then, and I hadn't watched it since. And watching it again, I feel like I have about the same opinion that I did before. It was an enjoyable movie, but it didn't catch me. It didn't hold me until probably the last 20 minutes. It really started to actually get me. You can certainly tell that Burton put a lot of heart into this movie, but it sort of felt like a Tim Burton film for people who don't like Tim Burton films. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's nice to deviate from what people expect of you, to do something different, but I don't know, it didn't feel like a Tim Burton movie that I was expecting. I don't know if that's supposed to be a good thing or a bad thing, but it is. The overacting could get a little annoying. You need to suspend your disbelief a little bit and know that they're not going for a straightforward, believable kind of acting. It's supposed to be sort of 50s, or Leave It to Beaver or whatever, kind of overacting, charming, really kind of pushing it, you know? He's like, I love you and I will marry you. It's that kind of cheesy crap that that our parents just love. At the end of the day, the story comes down to our relationship with our fathers. When dreading the ending of their lives and our relationship with them. Some people have good relationships with their dads, some people don't. But it's the stories that we've heard about our fathers, especially from our fathers, that really create the picture of them in our minds that we will remember forever. I don't want to ruin the movie, but the point is, a man becomes the stories he tells. That's what your children and your children's children are going to remember. So if you have good stories, for the love of God, write them down, or film it, or sing about it, do something, because that's how you're going to live on. is through your stories. You become your stories. You become the big fish. There's one or two scenes that they really get you. Jessica Lange just does it for me as an actress. The scene with her and Albert Finney in the bathtub is just, it's short, but it just gets you right there. And then of course the ending could be seen as sort of overly sappy, but if you're into the movie, if you're invested, it can get you. It can get you a little emotionally riled up. So if you're looking for something different from Tim Burton, watch this movie. It's by no means a bad movie. It's not the most fantastic thing I've ever seen, but you know, it doesn't need to be. It was a powerful message. And at the end, that's what really makes this movie worth watching, is it does have a great message. My final thought is, it's just a great story. Watch it with your dad, you know, make an emotional evening out of it, you know, where you can just, I love you, Dad, so much. This movie makes me feel that way. I'm going to give this film a 6.5 out of 10. The story, wonderful. It just didn't hit me as, you know, a classic that we're going to be talking about in 30 years. You should watch this movie, if only for the message that it gives. And for the love of God, tell someone those stories, or you'll be lost forever. Have a good night. We'll see you next time. I love you and I will marry you.